We jumping back into a highly anticipated book. You all know him, my boy Will Smith, with his memoir, self-titled Will. I mean, we all know him from uh, starting off with the Fresh Prince, getting into acting, rapping, Summertime, Classic Kids, Men in Black, all these different movies. We see him and Jada on the news everywhere. So we know about Will Smith, but he actually gives us a firsthand account with this book, Will. And so this is our kickoff book for this year, 2022, and for season 2 of our podcast. So let's jump into the discussion real quick. Let's get into it. So overall impressions of the book. Like, what do you think about this book? And we're gonna come to Miss Lake over here. We're gonna start with her. Kim, what were your thoughts about this book?
Didn't read it. I listened to it on Audible. And I think it is one of the best books on Audible I've listened to. It's very like interactive. The way he, like, when he talks about growing up in church, you hear the choir in the background. He's talking about DJ Jazzy Jeff, like DJing. You hear the competition and the crowd cheering. So I think that part of the book was really immersive, and like I really enjoyed hearing and listening to him narrate the book. Also, I think it was a really great book because he was just so open and honest. And I mean, I don't think he really left anything out. I mean, he talked about everything in the book. So I just really thought it was a really great memoir, because that's what the memoir is about, like being open and honest about your life. I think the book reflected that. So I really enjoyed the book.
It's good.
Good. Isaiah, man, what were your thoughts? Like I said, I know, man, I think you were probably the first one to kind of get started on this book out of our crew. So what were your thoughts about this book?
Well, first, I was super excited when we chose this to be the first book for our season 2. Overall, Will is an incredible book. This book was, like Kim said, it was like basically well written. I actually read the book. I learned about Will Smith's story for so long. He strategically, moved through life. And, this book connected a lot of the dots that we didn't know about his life, as his fans. And I feel that, in his writing, he was thinking about how, sharing his own struggles can help others. His tone is a very conversational tone, and he has the ability to be a storyteller because he is a, actor. And so this book was more of a page turner, and then the other memoirs that that I read, and I just him personality, and I just want to throw this out there that this is basically one of my favorite memoirs, and how I feel about the other book that I have read. So that says a lot about the impact that this book has had on me.
Okay, look, man, that's pretty big. You putting Will at the top of the list.
It's a really good book.
Okay. All right, Laria, what were your thoughts, overall impressions of this book, Will by Will Smith?
Well, I feel like I'm just coming behind what everybody is saying, and I agree wholeheartedly with Kim and Isaiah because I absolutely loved it. From the first chapter to the last chapter, I was all in. I mean, and I listened to it on Audible as well, and I agree with Kim listening to the different, listening to his voice. First of all, Will Smith is an awesome storyteller. In my mind, I feel like every situation he talked about, every childhood memory, everything, I felt like I was there and I was listening. And in my mind, I could see the row houses that he talked about and being on the street playing. I mean, he was just so descriptive. It was amazing. I really enjoyed every chapter. There wasn't a part where I didn't want to listen. It was, some books kind of go up and down. His book was really steady for me. Some points, of course, I was more interested in, but I really, really liked it. Really, 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 really. It's on the top of my memoirs as well. I really loved it. So I have no complaints. I think everybody should read this book because it lets you know a lot more about him because he is like one of the best actors ever. And that didn't have to.
Malcolm X, and we looked at some other historical figures and just different accounts. I think this memoir is kind of our generation, so it really kind of speaks to us. We all know
it's true.
Will Smith from the Fresh Prince. We know him from his early rap career. we seen him in all these movies.
Sure.
Because you know something about him, but now you're getting this behind the scenes, and like Laria mentioned, he really does just kind of pull you in. Great writer, great storyteller. I listen on Audible as well, so him just narrating the book, throwing in sound bites and changing voices and inflections, and throwing in some of his music as well, which is a great experience. I definitely agree with you guys. I think this was a great pick for us to start this new year off, season 2 also of our podcast. So if you guys that are watching right now, if you haven't already read or listened to this book, please go check it out. Pick it up. It's a good listen, good read. And like I said, again, it's something that you could probably really relate to, because like, who don't know Will Smith? I mean,
Right.
everybody know Will. So like you have something to really connect to,
Right.
with reading his story and getting that experience. So yeah. The book is about the conversation trying to build better relationship with men and women, and try to bridge those gaps. So yeah, what did you guys think about the book overall? And I'm coming to Ms. Lake first. What were your thoughts about this book?
I thought that it was a really great book overall. I think the title is perfect, the conversation, because when I listened to it, it sounded like he was having a conversation with me, and the people throughout the book were having a conversation, and it gave a lot of great nuggets about not just relationships, but how to deal with yourself and becoming a better person on your own. So I think it's a really great book. I think everybody should read it.
Okay, good. Isaiah, what were your thoughts, brother?
Well, my thoughts about it, I really actually enjoyed the book, just like Kim said. I think that, everything was surrounded by, the thoughts of men and women and what they view on how a relationship should be. They was honest, they was vulnerable, with telling their stories of what they like and, what they dislike. And I think like overall, they actually about 100% of their most authentic self about what they want, what they expect about a relationship, and what they're actually willing to give themselves to put into their relationship, and longevity of what they see themselves. You had some married couples, you had some single people, so it was good to get that objective of both sides.
Yeah.
That's good. Laria?
I can say both of what they said, because y'all took everything I wanted to say. It was a great read. I thought that it was very informative. I like the fact that he went deep into why culture is the way it is now when it comes to relationships, and looking a little more deeper than, we just don't talk to each other. And, it goes a lot deeper than that. And then even with the previous relationships that a person has had and being emotionally unavailable and all those things, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great read. I think everybody should read that book. That was good.
Good read.
Yeah, it was good. Look, you guys know I'm a quote guy. So one of the quotes I wrote out, kind of the beginning of the book, and kind of sets the tone for what Hill is trying to convey. He said, "I'm very concerned about what is happening to the Black family. I worry about my community and how it feels these days. We are regressing. We made huge leaps forward in the 60s and 70s, but somehow we're not holding it together anymore." And this fact is supported by the divorce rate within our community. So really telling book to really try to get to the root of what's going on with men and women, and especially with men and women in the Black community. So I love the book, a lot of good information, and it's really just predicated on us having a conversation. So yeah, and again, we got some people here that have our mini conversations similar to the book. If you read the book and you follow Hill, he's going through interview process with men and women throughout this journey, trying to figure out what men think, what women think. Like Isaiah mentioned, he's talking to, married and single. He actually kind of, I guess, culminates this by having a party of just a mixture of people and really having a conversation and a discussion about what they feel about relationships. So I'm gonna pull a few points from the book. We're gonna do quick yes, no, and then we're gonna get into our own mini conversation here on Four Friends in the Book.
Dating is a journey, not a destination. And so I found that you just really have to exercise some patience.
I hear women like, you should come to church and you're gonna meet your husband here.
And coming from being married, you get into that thing of, I only know one person, so now it's just being a little bit more patient and seeing what it is that I really, really want.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how sketch is vaping? It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes. Look at that. You even turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you got to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Our guest tonight is Dr. Eugene Gibson. What do you love the most about your practice of Black preaching?
I believe that when you talk about African American preaching, you also have to talk about social location. We who have been kissed by nature's son in this country have had to endure oppression, which means that our social location has been one of oppression, suppression, and depression. So I would say African American preaching, or any preaching that deals with people who are marginalized, is the I guess the enterprise where we dare to hope in spite of what we see, and we view God based on our social location. Eschatological hope that what is going on now won't always be.
So first question, again, just yes, no, quick answers. And these are kind of ideas from the book and just things I kind of pulled out on my own. So dating someone 10 years older or younger? Yes, no. Laria?
Yep.
Isaiah?
Older.
No.
Kim?
Yes and no. Older, yes. Younger, no.
Okay.
Yeah, younger no is a no for me too. Yeah.
Okay. So next question. Living with someone before marriage. Start with Kim. Yes, no.
No.
Isaiah?
Mom and daddy, no.
For real.
No.
Okay. And that's actually a no for me. And I didn't answer the first question. No, I don't 10 years. I think within the 10-year period is good. Beyond that, it's kind of a stretch. So yeah, that'll be a no for me. All right. Next question. Prenup, no prenup. Isaiah?
Yes.
Laria?
I could do a prenup. Yeah, I could do it. I mean, wait a minute. Are you asking me if I would agree to a man's prenup or if I would give him a prenup?
Both.
I mean, it wouldn't bother me. I could do it. It wouldn't.
Okay.
It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. Yeah.
All right, Kim?
No.
Okay. For me, I don't know. It's a maybe. I understand the intent. I also understand the other side of it. I don't know. It's a maybe. Maybe.
Well, I don't think I would give anybody a prenup, but if he had a lot of assets or something, he asked me to sign something. As long as it was fair, I'm good. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I wouldn't.
I think just basically protects yourself in a situation. I mean, when we go into these situations lovingly, everything is smoother. But when things are topsy turvy, that's when you see the bad side. So I think it's best to go in a situation protecting yourself. Not saying you're ready to get a divorce, but just in case we go down that road, I want to be able to protect myself.
Gotcha. All right. So interracial dating. Laria.
I could maybe. I couldn't say a yes. I love black men, so that's my preference. But I mean, if he's like mixed or something like that, maybe, you know.
Samoan.
I would never say right. I would never say no. I would never say no to anything, you know.
Okay. For me, I jump in there. At this point, I think no. At one point, it was a yes. But yeah, I'm at a no at this stage of life. So, Ken, what about you?
No as well.
All right, Isaiah, interracial dating, yes, no, maybe.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, he down with the swirl.
All right. And so this question is for the women, and it was kind of one of the points that was pulled out from the book. Do you feel valued by black men? Yes, no, sometimes. What are your thoughts?
You want me to go? Were you
Sure.
asking, do I feel valued?
Mhm.
This is a yes or no question still, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do feel valued.
So this for me and Isaiah to answer. So do we feel valued by black women? So Isaiah.
Yes.
All right. And I feel the same way as well. It was kind of an interesting point. So in the book, we follow along and hear interviews people. And so there was a lot of conflicting, I guess, notions about feeling valued. Primarily, I think from the men and the women, but it was kind of interesting to hear that. So that's why I wanted to kind of ask that question.
An iMac computer, but you have a cell phone. Maybe you have an Apple cell phone. Leverage that to then create what you find important.
How do we make sure that our children, what they're learning, is positive?
You budget. You pay bills.
Yet somehow women like you, like me,
are 80% more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement.
So here's what we're gonna do now. We're going to save ourselves by setting a goal to save 2% more of our income for our retirement.
Why 2? 1% honors you.
And 1% honors all womankind.
So come on, learn more about the 2% challenge at WeSaySaveIt.org.
We're showing you how to make yellow rice today.
Nice fluffy rice. Look at that beauty.
Now we're gonna smother these ribs. We're gonna let them cook for about 45 minutes or so. I want them so tender, meat falling off the bone.
We're in this space again where gun violence, mass shootings they're starting to run rampant again. You know, we had the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. We had the shooting at the grocery store in Buffalo. And so the discussion about gun control has come to the forefront again. You know, this is nothing new. We've had these discussions over the decades. You know, we've been talking about school shootings back in Columbine and other things. So even here locally in Georgia, you know, our governor is to now carry guns without a permit. So not requiring you to be licensed. You can now conceal carry without any type of permit. So the discussion about gun control, gun safety, new legislation is kind of really at the forefront now, especially with the amount of mass shootings and just deaths in general. You know, we hear the discussion, the United States has the most guns and also the most deaths by guns amongst all other countries. So I kind of want to talk about that. You know, like I said, in the book, there was a chapter where men died at the hands of guns. And so kind of relating that to what we're seeing right now as well. So what are you guys' thoughts about, I guess, kind of even, let's start at the beginning. What do you stand on Second Amendment rights? Or what are your thoughts about the Second Amendment right, which I guess grants us citizens the right to bear arms? And we're gonna come back to Ms. Lake. We're gonna start with her on this one.
Okay. Well, I am not a gun owner, but I have shotguns. So I believe that we as citizens, I think we do have the right to bear arms or have guns for our protection. I'm not opposed to guns. I think anything like guns, like alcohol, whatever, you need to be responsible in your use of them. But I am not opposed to guns or gun usage.
Okay. Like I'm coming to Laria next. I want to hear the female perspective, and then we're gonna switch over. So, Laria, what are your thoughts on this Second Amendment right?
Second Amendment. Okay. So let's go back to the history of the Second Amendment and why it was there. You know, I think we need to update a lot of things. Going back to, as Kim said, I'm not opposed to guns, but my thing is, why do I need a gun? Like, what do I need one for? And I'm not just talking about just for me, I'm talking about everybody. Why do we need them? Are they for recreational usage, for going out deer hunting? Or is this just if I feel somebody comes on my property or something and I think they may do something to me that I can start shooting because I'm a citizen? And I just feel that the Second Amendment is kind of outdated. And I think it needs to be, but is it beneficial? Is it helpful? So, I mean, you can have it. I believe if somebody's trying to break in your house, yeah, of course you're going to need a gun, but you're going to need a gun because they got one. You know what I'm saying? So that's really the whole point of having a gun at this point, is to protect yourself from the fool who's got one who's not being responsible. But anyway, so yeah, that's where I am with the Second Amendment. I just feel that it's outdated. It was done at a time when people were vigilantes. They were running people off their land. They were killing people. If we just go back and be honest about it, it wasn't for good reason. So yeah, that's where I am with it, if that makes sense.
Perfect.
Interesting. Yeah. Like my boy says sometimes, interesting. All right, Isaiah, what are your thoughts on this topic?
For me, the Second Amendment is the only constitutional right people pretend that can't have any regulation. This amendment guarantees the right. It does guarantee the right to bear arms, but it doesn't say that you can have any weapons you want and that you can that you can actually use them as you should want to, as easy as it has become. And it has become easier to get an automatic weapon than it is to adopt a dog. The Second Amendment is why we can't go to school or work or the house of worship or a nightclub or just going anywhere outside in a public gathering without fear of being shot. And the Second Amendment is why you can't immediately be arrested for openly carrying an assault rifle in a public place. And you can't be immediately arrested for even smuggling, a hand cannon in your gym shorts. And like Laria say, when this Second Amendment was actually drafted, it was at a time when militias was actually coming to your home, but we live in 2022. Militias are not coming to your home at the time. And if the government does come to your home, there's nothing that you or your handgun can do to stop that bulldozer from coming inside your home. So I think that's something that should be drafted more consciously of what the Second Amendment should actually stand for in the modern day times and not when it's actually written in the 1700s.
That's good. So let's kind of unpack this. Look, I consider myself to be an amateur historian, so let's unpack the history a little bit. So first of all, I am pro Second Amendment. I am a gun owner. I am a licensed concealed carry owner. I have always kind of shot guns. Started out, my dad got me into hunting and fishing at a young age. So started out kind of that area, but then kind of moved into more recreational shooting. Like I said, my friends, we go out shooting. I frequent the gun range. So I am pro Second Amendment. But I do think, like you guys mentioned, the history of it is a little different. So even looking at the right to form militias and also to bear arms, I think that was kind of, again, 1791 was when the Second Amendment was drafted or ratified. And I think at that time, it was really kind of predicated on the notion of the states retaining power, not allowing, the big government or federal government to kind of supersede some of the state rights. You also had this, Haitians, Black people that were enslaved have now freed themselves. And I think that was a concern as well, even within the United States, as far as, slave revolts. And you kind of see that happening, Nat Turner, Denmark VC, all these things that happen where, people then formed militias and had guns, slave owners had guns to kind of control certain aspects of their population. And even with that being said, free Black people couldn't have and own guns at that time. So we had the Constitution. It wasn't really for Black people at that time, even similar to voting. We didn't have those rights. But now things are kind of changed. And so I view it kind of in the same lanes of that. Initially it wasn't for us, but the access is now granted. So I think, like anything else, we should take advantage of it. I'm not opposed to it being regulated more. I'm not opposed to, laws being in place to kind of, I've heard Brock talk about it one time where he was mentioning how, like, it's so much money involved in politics into it. They won't even allow like studies of like guns and murder and crime and how these things have an effect. So I think those are kind of all factors that kind of really spawn this whole notion about gun control, gun safety, and all that aspect. So it's kind of been a back and forth conversation for a long period of time. We get into that favorite part of our show. If you've been rocking with us for a while, you know what time it is. This segment that we call The Rant. 60 seconds, uninterrupted, no debates, no additional discussions. We're not contesting what's being said, just speaking freely from the heart. None other than my brother, the Rant Man, coming again. He just gave us a pre-rant about Miss Ketanji Brown Jackson. So I don't know what his next rant gonna be. I don't know if he's gonna continue that to give us something completely different. But my brother, the floor is yours again. 60 seconds uninterrupted. Starting now. Go.
Yeah, if Russell ain't had that bread, she ain't gonna be with him. Russell Square. Russell Square. Sierra had she has a good situation, but you don't leave Future and get with Russell Wilson.
The thing is, I think that's where
you
you're
don't
wrong,
leave
though.
Future and get Russell Wilson. Like, it's a type. Listen, bro, everybody got a type.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody has a type. You gonna leave Future and get with Russell Wilson? He's so damn square, and I love him on the field. He's a square.
So I've been following this trending topic of Channing Crowder calling Russell Wilson a square only because he has a clean image. And our depiction of what's cool or uncool was supposed to grow up when we grew up. Black men's public image needs to be repaired because I don't think there is another community/culture in the world where a man like Russell Wilson would be considered lame or corny. Black men images have been publicly tainted for so long that when some people see a regular, wholesome, family-oriented is perceived as a negative by Black men, then the issue isn't our public image, it's our perception. And the question should be asked, is Russell Wilson's ambition strong, or is his work ethic not good enough, or is it his ability to gain success through his athletic abilities and to keep this clean image? And this is bigger than Russell Wilson, because there are so many Black men like Russell doing great for their communities and families. Their names are unknown because they are only getting the applause from their homes and neighborhoods, and that is enough for them. And that's that on that.
We want you guys to check us out. If you missed any of our episodes, please go back, watch our various books that we've gone through. I promise it'll hold you over until we get back to season 3.
And make sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. And you guys, we have reached our goal of 100 subscribers. So thank you all for subscribing. Continue to share our content. Like us when you're on YouTube. Comment. Helps us with that algorithm and other people get exposed to us.
As always, guys, we thank you for your support, and let's continue to read, let's learn, let's grow. Let's have a discussion here on 4 Friends in a Book. Thank you.